Welcome to episode 2 of season 35, the Big Pod. Of course, as always, we start off the episode by trying to change the thumbnail as fast as humanly possible. And we're going to see if we can set the record this time because I actually remembered how to do it. I am already on the screen. I might do it in 30 seconds. Might be the first 30-second thumbnail change in Big Pod history. It's uploaded. It's saved. The thumbnail's changed. And I'd say we're ready to go. The last thing is just to make sure that my audio is coming through okay. Of course, it would be quite frustrating to record the whole thing. Yeah, I'd say it seems pretty good. Okay, you're gonna hear a little bit. You might hear a little bit of an echo there while I do that. Otherwise, we're all ready to go. Okay, so I would say 2 state of the state things I want to address. State of the Big Ten. Number 1 for this by far is I apologize to you guys. I was hoping that picking you in every game would make you feel confident, make you feel that your commissioner believed in you and would help you guys win games. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. As of right now, this conference has only 4 teams that are truly undefeated, which is a little disappointing to say the least. And one of those 4, their win came against or 2 of those 4, their win came against 3 of those 4, their win came against a G5 school. Oh, so we only have 1 undefeated team that's played all G5 schools, and it was 1 game, it was against Louisville. So, this time, we're going to just give our raw, honest opinions, your guys' feelings to the wind. I'm just going to tell you how it is, man. And I hope you guys can take it. And most importantly, if you can't, use it as material to play better. Okay. Number 2, I will be doing something new for this season. Is as I do each week's pod, I will go back to the previous 2 weeks scheduling threads and be going through them, noticing if a game is unplayed. I will be sending a message in it so that you guys do not have the excuse of being like, oh, I didn't know what happened, I didn't know what the scheduling thread is. No, I'm adding your opponent. Get your dang games played. All right. So with all that taken care of, we do, as we always do, every single week, we start off with the Illinois Fighting Illini. Now, Sneal Shiesty had his first game against Auburn, who he's actually a fan of. Unfortunately, wasn't able to come away with the victory, lost 53-43, but very competitive game against a cross team that is probably going to score a lot of points this year. So excited to see that Sneal was able to score 43 and keep this kind of close, only lost by 10. As far as the Beefy Cup goes, he's 1-1, he's split, lost to Wake Forest. Of course, it's always a tough game, just a different play style out there, but was able to beat Florida. Which I don't think people are talking about enough. So I would say, good job, Sneal Shiesty. I would say good start to the season for you. But I see your game against South Georgia Cracker, notorious sim game guy, and Louisiana hasn't been played yet. So for the first time, we're going to go tab over to week 2, search Illinois, and send a message. So let's close this, Illinois. Illinois. No posts. Great. Good job, Discord. Good job, Fight. There it is. There's no messages in the scheduling thread. Come on, guys. Expect better. Sneal. Shiesty. South. Any movement on this game being played? Question mark. Hopefully you guys have been DMing. Exclamation point. We are getting 0 sim losses this year. Most important thing. If we get 0 sim losses, I'm happy as a commissioner. You guys can lose every single game, but if we get 0 sim losses, I'm proud of you guys for playing your games. All right. Now, the preview for Illinois. Holy smokes, he has like the hardest block ever. All right, so Illinois, he just decided he's going to have the hardest blocks in the entire league. There's no way anyone has a harder block 2 than this. His combined opponent ranks add up to 14, which is about as low as you can possibly get. He's going to start off with a Big 12 team that, of course, is playing another Big 10 team because Marion just wants to be part of the Big 10. We all know this. We've established this. But he's going to host the Utah Utes and hopefully do okay. I think he's really going to struggle in this one since he gave up 53 to Cross. And Cross isn't bad. He was decent with UTEP last year, but Marion's just a different animal. The offense was working against Cross, so I'm hoping he can do a little bit better. But I think this is going to be really difficult, and I think this is a game that, unfortunately, Sneal, I don't expect to keep it within 21 points. I'd love for him to prove me wrong, but I do think it's going to be a huge win for Utah. Moving on to his next game, unfortunately, is somehow even harder. Depending on who you ask. He's going to go play the best team in the game on the road, so he's going to travel to Hoosierville. He's going to play Pat. Now, I think that despite these overalls looking very suspect, Pat lost the game to a Virginia Tech team that I don't think is that much higher overall than... Yeah, he lost to a 78 overall Virginia Tech team. Just 78. So I think Sneal's going to give Pat a run for his money because Pat's just not locked in right now. And until Pat shows me that he's going to actually lock in and start playing well, I'm not going to pick him. So I'm actually going to take Sneal by 1 point because Pat misses a PAT. He's so unlocked, he accidentally overkicks the PAT, misses it, and loses because of it. Now, I'm proving wrong, Pat, but haven't seen it yet. So, that's my picks for Illinois. I do think Illinois is going to end up going 1-1 in a very difficult block. And then, of course, this game against Louisiana. We've sent something out. We got 2 new mentions. Let's see. Yeah, that's my boy. We've been texting about time to get in. Looking until Tuesday. He's out of town until Tuesday. Looking to play later tonight, possibly. Perfect. Thanks. Apply. Send. Sweet. So hopefully that game gets in. Yeah, 2 a.m. Oh, Twisted Nuts is on the West Coast? I didn't know that. Okay. Sorry. I'm sure you guys didn't. I have no idea what that it was even about. Okay, so since Patrick's playing Illinois, we can move on and talk about Patrick. Let's see. Pat, as I said, lost to Virginia Tech. Don't know how that happened. I was able to beat Troy. Congrats. He only had 20 overall advantage. I mean, I'm just really disappointed in him talking about, oh, he's ready for the season to be over. This team's no good. Okay, so he's playing one of the teams on the road that he scheduled because he didn't want to play anyone good. And let's see, who did he play? Oh yeah, Liberty. Wow, tough game. He only has a 17 overall advantage against Narcan Man, who's he's been decent with Duke in the past. Not really comparable to User. Do expect Pat to take care of this one. Of course, I mean anyone with half a brain can take care of this one. So do expect him to win that. And then, as I said before, we can go back to it just to reiterate it. I actually expect Pat to lose this game against against Illinois just because I don't think he's prepared for it. I think he went out and scheduled a really soft out of conference. He hasn't really shown that he's understood what it takes to win in the Big Ten. He played in the soft Big 12 last year. He was able to kind of cakewalk into the CFP. Wasn't able to win any CFP games. So he's got a lot to prove. And this is a game where I'm hoping he proves something. But unfortunately, given his attitude recently, I'm not expecting it. Okay, so hopefully Pat wins this game, but I doubt it. Okay, moving on to the next team. We got Iowa, Brady. Okay, I can easily going to talk very highly about Brady. I love watching this guy play. He's super fun, super cool style, very run heavy, really mixes things up to try and find a way to get some yards in the ground. So he played 2 games last block. He got them both done. Shout out to him. Good on him for that. His one game that he finished was against Clemson. This was at home. Unfortunately, lost this game by about 10. During the game, it's kind of funny. He does like commentary every like 5 or so minutes. Like he'll say something, which I kind of like. It's kind of cool. So those are kind of like nuggets you get from watching his games. He said at the end of the game something I thought was very telling for how he's kind of feeling about this season. He said, hopefully now you guys will all leave me alone and let me play. And I think that's exactly, sometimes you want guys to look for the spotlight. I actually like how Brady's kind of saying, hey, just let my play do the talking. Quit talking about my team, so much. So I would say I'm really looking forward to him the rest of the season. He did lose this game by 10 points. It was probably a lot less close than 10 points, honestly. I would say Pirate had this one in control, and it kind of showed that maybe Brady isn't quite at that level yet. But I think he can be. I think he has a pretty good scheduled chance to run the table. He's going to play Tennessee later on in the season. He's also got Oregon, MSU. Lots of good chances to get some wins. And then the other game he played was honestly a great win, and it was a great game on the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Here. Was at Iowa State, though. You guys get it. So this game was at Iowa State, but he was able to win by 9 points, 33-24. Was an enjoyable game to watch. Two great coaches between him and Lexi. I do think that it kind of showed that, okay, Brady knows how to play some defense. I think he's done a decent job if he plays against these okay offensive users, kind of limiting them, was able to hold Lexi to 24 points. So that being said, I'm kind of excited to see what he does in the next block. I guess I should touch on his Beefy Cup. He did beat Knowles by 10. Of course, we had talked about that last episode. But he has quite a fun game, I think, personally, coming up. He's going to travel to Rutgers to play Chrome, who's had a great start to the season. Of course, he had the infamous lag switch game against Penguin, who was a little nervous about the score, so he decided to turn his internet off, so it disconnected. And then when they replayed, of course, Penguin was more prepared. He was able to do better. Disappointing to see. And then he did beat, I'm pretty sure he beat Zoot. I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but yeah, he beat Zoot by 3. So good for him. But regardless, this is kind of like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Yeah. So the Iowa defense, Brady's got a pretty good defense. He's going to go up against a Rutgers offense that scores like 1 million points a game. He's averaging, I don't know, this is kind of tough for me to believe, this 37-68, just knowing what happened. But those two numbers would add up to 96. Yeah. So what is that, 48? Yeah. So he's averaging 48 points a game. Quite impressive. Brady's giving up about 69 to 35. So, not the greatest defense in the world, but I think Brady's really good with the hit stick, and it's Chrome isn't the best at defense. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of see, is Chrome able to stop the run, which I think most of the guys who aren't good at defense, it's kind of their biggest problem is they can't stop the run, so then you can just run all over them, and you don't really even have to worry about passing. And then so when you do pass, you just murder them because they can't stop the run. They have to bring in so much help, and then your guys just beat their one-on-one matchups. So I do think Brady's going to win this one by only 7 because Chrome's offense is just so good, it's going to keep him in the game. But I think Brady will get a couple stops. He's pretty good with the hit stick. I think he'll be able to get some fumbles, and that'll help him be able to come away with the victory at Rutgers. So do you think Brady's going to win the one game he has this block and move him to 2-1, which I think is a good start for him. He should be happy with that. Now, the next team we have, he's going to actually play his first game of the year. It's going to be the Maryland Terrapins and Wilds. He's posted some great Sora content. Always appreciate him, and I really appreciate him and Nidler, and then I think Vic's done some too. Taking the time to do that, because, I mean, even though it is AI content, you do have to take the time to generate it. You have to take the time to make sure it looks good, because I've heard kind of those prompts, if you make them very basic, they're really bad. I know I tried making, like, some images on ChatGPT, and it was just, like, it was not worth it. It was easier for me to just make it in PowerPoint and make sure it was good, So I'd say I am a little more appreciative of the AI than I think the general public is something. And I think the NDL were really appreciative of it, but some people hate on the AI content a little too much. But his first game is against a MAC opponent, and is on the road. It's against my biggest rival as Central Michigan. It's against Western Michigan, and it's against Sergeant Arby Sauce, who new coach. Had some decent games. I've seen him in the scrimmages and things. Seems like he's kind of struggled to find his way, but it sounds like he has some talent because I can see him kind of being inquisitive, putting in lots of hours. So I think this is going to be a really tight game between Maryland and Western Michigan, which, I mean, shocking the overalls are only 1 different, despite being a Big Ten MAC matchup. But I do think Wilds has enough experience playing on bigger stages, and I think that'll help him win here. It's just a different level of game. when you're playing the Peak 4, and since Wilds is used to that, I think it's going to take a little bit of adjusting for Sergeant Arby-Sauce. I think it's going to cause them to not quite win. So I think Wilds wins by about 14 in this game. And then Wilds' Block 4 game is against, not a MAC school, it's a Big Ten game. Oh, whoops, scrolled too far. It's against Wisconsin. And that game is also on the road. So battle of the kind of Sora guys. I'm excited to see this game because I think coaching-wise they actually match up quite well, but Nidler I don't think has as good a reputation as Wilds does. I'm not really sure why. I think they're both decent coaches. I think they both can be playoff caliber given the right team. Fortunately, Wilds is the only one who's shown that and actually made a playoff. Nidler hasn't quite done that yet. But I do think it's going to be very tight. Obviously, overall is very even. It's at Wisconsin, so I'm going to give Nidler the slight edge. Going to give him a 3-point victory just with that top 25 HFA. So hard to overcome on the NDL. And I do think Wilds is going to struggle with that. Having been Texas Tech previously, kind of had not as great HFAs in the Big 12, so he kind of got to adjust to that. And I think it'll take him some time too. And I should shout out Wilds for playing his Beefy Cup game. Or one of his Beefy Cup games, he beat LSU Masman and Old Dominion, who's not a slouch by any means. And he has a game against Jet in the Beefy Cup I'm kind of looking forward to. But regardless, thinking Wilds is going to end this block 1-1. Now, moving on to one of the big dogs, and coached by a pretty big dog. We got 6 feet in Michigan. He played his first game of the year against, I assume his buddy Mark, and was able to come out with a 5-point victory. Fortunately, if you tuned into this game, man, 6 was down early. Mark just wasn't quite able to hold on to that victory, and 6 ended up coming back at the 5-point victory. But I do think it's going to be, it was kind of telling that, is this going to be a tough year for Big Blue on the road? So it really makes me think every time I'm seeing a road game, I'm kind of scared for 6. Only scoring 24 against Wyoming is quite interesting. Giving up 5-point victory. Lots of question marks. Then if you look at his Beefy Cup results, he did lose to Georgia State at home. That was unfortunately an accidental even game, so can't really count that. But he lost to Dealer in Pittsburgh on the road and gave up 41 with a Michigan team with 94 defense. So pretty suspect so far from 6, and he's going to have a lot to prove when he plays home games. And unfortunately for him, he's not going to have a home game until week 6. And since we're in Block 2, his one game this week is going to be on the road, and it's going to be at Nebraska. D. Ward has had an interesting start to the year. Really struggled against Marion, got blown out, but just barely lost a cross. Again, I think that's going to end up being a loss where you're like, oh, that's okay. And then in the Beefy Cup, he lost by 3 to Steam, and then Smoke Dock by 31. So I do think Nebraska is going to be a formidable opponent, and I'm going to give D. Ward the victory here, even though I don't think D. Ward himself would give him the victory here. Interesting to see that these teams are only 1 overall different. I just think Michigan is just so bad on the road, and I think they're really going to struggle in Nebraska. So I do think D. Ward's going to come away and get the dub. But shout out to 6 for having his games played. Always appreciative of that. Now, our next team is the little brother in the mitten, Michigan State. He played his game at home, I know, because I watched it. He watched this one live. He played Cal. He got absolutely smoked by Chop. I think Chop told me he threw 7 interceptions, which is kind of crazy. So very difficult game for Hughes. Tough start for the year. His only game he's played this far. His other game, this block, is against me. Unfortunately, he did decide that he needed some extra time to prepare for our game, which I'm totally okay with. Appreciate him trying to do his best for the league. So not sure when that game's going to get played, but it hasn't been played yet. But of course, you guys know I'm gonna be on him, and I'm definitely not gonna let that game go to sim, regardless. Now his 2 games this block are, I think, a little bit more manageable than this game against Chavo. I think it's going to be a great coach at Cal. His first game this block is going to be at home against Delaware, who he only has a 4 overall advantage, but having the home field advantage, I think that's going to help him a lot. Let's check out. I have no idea how this Delaware coach is doing. I don't even know if he's done anything. I want to say I saw a Delaware game get played, though, so I do think, yeah, lost to LSU by 17. Any Beefy Cup? No. Man, the Beefy Cup is just dead this season. Really disappointing, guys. But I get it. It's kind of draining. So, lost to 17 to Old Dominion. That's formidable, but man, Masman's defense wasn't that good. He only scored 25. So I do think Hughes is going to take care of business here, utilize the 4 overall advantage, and just a better overall team to be able to kind of control the ball. Also, the home field, I just think he definitely wins this one. But his other game this block is going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a game that Michigan State won last year with Coach Metro. So we're going to have to try and maintain that winning culture, but it's going to be at USC this year. And I think this is going to be really tough. I think KDOT was pretty good with Sam Houston. I do think this is a pretty even coach matchup, though. So I am going to give the edge to KDOT just because it's at USC versus being at MSU. I think just that home field advantage, hearing that, oh my gosh, that's so dang repetitive fight song or whatever it is from USC, play after every first down, I just think it's going to wear on Hughes, and he's not quite going to be able to overcome that. So unfortunately, I'm predicting Hughes to go 1-1 this block, and not a great start to a season for a guy that started the year ranked 23rd, which I in no way expect him to be ranked 23rd when the poll comes out tomorrow. Okay, now moving on, we got another podcast host, actually, NTX Blue and Matt. He does a great pod, the Hot Route, very enjoyable to listen to. I would say definitely worth your time. If you have, they're actually pretty good to listen to at 2 times speed, so I think their last episode was about an hour and a half, hour 45. So if you have like an hour or so, you can easily 2 times that. Definitely understand what they're saying at that speed. Very good cadence for kind of a 2 times speed type podcast, which is fun to listen to. They do a good job of listening to other head coaches, kind of getting their opinions on things, which I think livens the conversation. And then they both have their own like little clips and everything that they bring in, so it's very fun. But getting back to the game themselves, he was actually on the road for this first game against a Big 12 team. I don't think I'll ever be used to putting Arizona State in the Big 12, but yeah, not very unique take. So unfortunately, he lost this game by 1. I saw him kicking a field goal with, or I guess he sent me the clip of him kicking a field goal with like 10 seconds left, maybe, down 1. Unfortunately, missed it. Some statements that the game pulled the meter back to the right, which I believe. Some lag, I guess, his thumb and A input didn't quite match up with what he wanted. But the big difference was that he missed an extra point, which unfortunately he also attributed to lag. Which again, I believe. I mean, how else are you going to miss an extra point? But sadly, that means he started the year, well, it was the second game he played, but unfortunately he lost his week 1 game, which I think was very winnable against the Arizona State team that I think is going to make some noise. I think Chase just sandbags so much. I don't think it's going to continue. I think this is the year Chase kind of pushes through. But regardless, 34-35 loss for the Golden Gophers. And then in terms of Beefy Cup play, did lose to Cleat Freak by 21. So he's just kind of had the same season he had last year. He struggles to get going to start the year. But his first game of the year, he was able to win against the Sam Houston State Bearcats. I think it's kind of cool he spelled Bearcats with a K. And Beer Cop, who he played last year and had or 2 seasons ago when he was Miami of Ohio. A very unfortunate loss, but he's able to beat Beer Cop and John this time, 1 by 7. Played some great defense, the whole guy to 14 points. And I think it kind of shows that I think he knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to kind of slowly pick it up as the season goes along. He has a lot of good breaks. He's easily one of the softest schedules in the Big Ten. Yeah, I mean, he only has to play 2 of those coaches that like really scary in Ohio State and Oregon. Is able to avoid Indiana and Penn State. So I do think he has a chance to make some noise. And he's going to play his 1 game this block it's at home. It's against Duke, the Blue Devils. I think this is actually a pretty good matchup for him because watching Brady Sr.'s game against Duke, I think kind of cool. Knowles is going to come back and play the team he was for 2 straight seasons in Minnesota. But I do think Minnesota kind of has the edge because Knowles didn't look great with Duke. I think he could definitely surprise me, but I do think Matt's going to have another really close game, very similar to the Arizona State game. I think this time he makes the extra point, goes to overtime, goes for 2 in overtime, and gets it for one of the rare close games that Matt wins. So do expect Matt to win this game by, I'm going to say, 1 point in overtime against Knowles, which will be a thriller. So hoping he wins that. Again, he played both his games as he's supposed to this week, so good job, Matt. Now moving on to the next team in the Big Ten. I've actually kind of touched on already because I had to with him playing U of M. He's got some games against, or he had 2 games against a couple of Big 12 opponents, which he had both of them on the road, or a Big 12 and an SEC opponent, which he had on the road. Crazy. His first one was against Utah, which I checked out for a little bit, and then unfortunately I kind of felt like it wasn't appropriate to watch for my television screen, and I turned it off because he really got smoked by Marion, and he kind of had that welcome to the NDL moment, or welcome to the P4 moment, but he said he was in the P4 last year, which I feel bad. I did not realize. Who was he last year? Oh, Cal. Okay. Yeah. ACC pseudo P4, let's be honest. It's a lot better this year with Devin joining. And who took Clemson? Pirate. So they got 2 big dogs now. These last few seasons, that was not a P4 conference. P 3.5 is honestly what it turned into with how bad Hefe was kicking everyone's butt. But he's in a real P4 now. He's at Big Ten. He played Marion. He didn't really keep it too competitive. Well, I say that, but he just had like some unfortunate picks. Now I think about the game itself. Yeah, I mean, it was closer than a 28-point game. I do think he's going to have some brighter days ahead. Unfortunately, his second game of the last block was not one of those brighter days. It was against Auburn, and he lost this game by 3 points. I was able to put up 38 against Cross. It's always good to see when you're able to score. When you're able to score that much, I do think kind of in hockey, the formula for success is always score 3 goals. Goalie gives up 2, you win 3-2. I think in the NDL, the formula for success is to score 35. No, it's really not. It's to score 42. I think you need to score 42 realistically to consistently win games. You need at least 40, and then you hope your defense only gives up 5 touchdowns, which, of course, if you go through a lot of games, probably doesn't happen. But if you can score 42, it's pretty hard to lose scoring 40. So I think that's kind of the goal you have to come out with every game, which is tough. But that's kind of just how this game plays, especially in the P4, and everyone's so fast. But like I said, he lost this game by 3. Unfortunate. His BP Cup, he lost his steam by 3. Again, unfortunate, but excited to see him playing such a good coach so close. And then he smoked Doc, beat him by 31. So his 2 games this block, I think one is a definite win. I don't see any scenario in which he loses this. I say that, but I don't know. Twisted nuts can surprise you sometimes, but I don't think Nebraska should be playing competitive games with Northern Illinois, and I think D. Ward knows that. And I also think he understands that, and he knows how to make sure these games aren't competitive. I also do expect D. Ward to come away with the victory in this one by quite a bit. I would say 14 minimum. His game, like I said, I think he has the advantage just because it's at home, and the Michigan team's so bad on the road. Again, I think D. Ward's going to come away with the victory against U of M as well, and he's going to kind of turn this 0-2 season around. It's going to be 2-2 going into the rest of his conference games. He's going to be feeling pretty good. Again, he's another guy who dodges both the big dogs. He doesn't have to play Ohio State or Oregon. And the best team he plays by far is Penn State. So really could set up for an outside shot at the title game. I don't know. I mean, he really could. If he's able to play Brady well, which is at home. Yeah. So despite him being like, whoa, my schedule's so hard, I think he actually has a good chance at making some noise. So shout out to D. Ward. Got both his games played. Excited to see how he does the rest of the season. Do think he's going to surprise some people. Okay, and then, whoa, what the heck am I doing? Okay. There. Okay, and then the other team, the next team is Northwestern. Oh yeah, they do have a rivalry, I knew that. But he played one game so far this block against Syracuse. Let me touch on this beefy. I do like it when you guys play your beefy games. They're fun to watch. I played Big Brian 1-3. Wow, that's a good win for him. Big Brian's no slouch. But he played Syracuse at home, and CG ran for like 1,000,000 yards with his fifth-string running back. I say that, but like his fifth-string running back has 95 speed. He won like a New Jersey state track title. One of my buddies was telling me. So always, that's going to be a tough one. I'm not surprised CG smoked him that bad. That running back is really good. I think he's going to have a little bit better success. Or, oh my gosh, no, he's not. Oh, wow. I said he had the hardest block. Who did they say had the hardest? Illinois? I said Illinois has to have the hardest block, too. I found a harder one. Combined opponent rank of 10. Illinois combined opponent rank was 14. Holy smokes. Okay, so he has an outstanding game against Western Michigan, which I am going to go in the scheduling thread for right now. Week 2. Back. There you go. Close. Plus week 1. Here's week 2. Back. Close. Northwestern. 3 new messages since 7 minutes ago. Oh, sweet. Oh, they just played their game. Oh, I wonder who won. Oh, we'll find out live. The Spruce Bagel. See him pulling it up. See if his stream is linked properly. It is. It's up. And he... Oh gosh, I don't know. No, I don't know. Does Arby's show the score? I know he scored 3 passing touchdowns. Oh my gosh, Arby has ads on. Get this out of here. Get this out of my face. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, I don't know who won. I mean, I can do it. Let's see. Good luck, you two. GG. Got to clean up my turnovers. Oh, I was praying for a missed field goal there at the end. Okay, so Bagel definitely won, judging by these messages by far. I think it was probably really close by the way this is worded, so maybe like a 3-point win, last second field goal. But regardless, definitely a win for Bagel, so he did get his game in. Shout out to Bagel. Good job. So that's going to make him 1-1. He was able to beat Western Michigan and Arby Sauce. Now he gets to play 2 of the toughest games of the entire block. He's going to host the Oregon Ducks. This game will not be close. Shell will win by 1,000. I think Shell honestly wins by 28. There's just not enough talent in Northwestern to be competitive. And then his other game is against probably an outside shot in the national title game contender, Rock. And I also don't think this one will be close. I think Rock wins by 28. So tough for Bruce Bagel. Like I said, he can kind of be some people's kryptonite. I don't think he's going to be Shell or Rock's kryptonite, so I do think he's going to have a tough block too. But he did play his Beefy Cup game. Oh yeah, I said he played Big Brian. So tougher Bagel. Ended block 1-1. I think unfortunately he's going to fall to 1-3 by the end of block 2. But got all his games in, so props to him for that. Okay, now we have another guy who is the guy in the NDL. The reigning, defending, 2-time NDL champion, Mr. D. Candy. And his one game that he's played so far, he hosted Louisville. It was a close game at halftime. And then D. Candy said, okay, you guys remember how in the reigning defending NDL champion I won 2 straight? I'll just win this one. I'll just win this game real quick. And then he just went and won this game real quick. So very impressive by D. Candy to kind of be close at halftime and then just pull away. I always think those are the most impressive wins because they kind of show that you have this resolve that even when the game's not going well, you're able to get the victory that you should be getting. But he did not play his block 1 game against or his week 1 game against Oklahoma. There's no messages? What? I'll just send something in the thread just because you know it's all about threads. Any idea when this one is getting played, guys? Okay. Alright, so we sent that. We sent that message. I'm sure they'll play. I mean, he's playing Texan all. It's 2 conference commissioners. Of course they're going to get their game in. And then his other game... has he played BV? I thought I saw him play a couple. Yeah, he smoked AU Tiger, 35'd him, and then he's 35 Mark. Yeah, that's tough. Those are different games. Oh yeah, Mark was telling me about that game. DK needs some really good user plays. So he's going to host... Or no, he's going to travel to Oregon. Pac-12. There you go. And then Big Ten. Ohio State. He's going to travel to Oregon State. He's going to play Dub. Dub's decent user. Not going to blow anyone away. And unfortunately, I think he's going to get blown away by DeCandy. I think 28 points easily for the Ohio State Buckeyes in this one. Would be surprised if it's kept under 35. So, yeah, I think he's going to start the year. And then, of course, I think he's going to beat Oklahoma when they play that game. He's a better coach than Texan all. So, I think he's going to start the year 3-0. Again, dodges Oregon. Toughest game by far is Penn State and Andy, and he plays that at home. So, I do think he's going to go undefeated this year. Don't see anything stopping him. But that's why they play the games. So, moving on to the next team, the other big dog in the conference, Shell. I had a good time scrummaging against Shell the other day, actually. We were the 2 of the directional Michigan teams. I was Central and he was Western. We had a good time playing. He taught me some things. I think I taught him some things about the G5. So, he's playing 2 games. I know he played this game against Quest. I just don't know what the final score was because whoever forgot to put the score in. Let me just find, because I like to be accurate when we're talking. I know he played, there's no way he didn't play this game. Did he not play it? Yeah. Oh no, he played it. Someone must have went back to put in the score. 38-10 is the final of the Oregon-Arkansas State game, so that was at home? Oh, I wonder why he scheduled that at home. Arkansas State Sunbelt. So he played Arkansas State. What did he win? 34-10, I just said. So he won 34-10 against Arkansas State. And then his other game was against his buddy, U.S. Marine, who was nice enough to host him. U.S. Marines South Alabama, which I think is kind of cool. Former veterans playing for a team that's USA. It's always cool to see. But another Sun Belt team. And he won this one 31-0. Not surprising. And then his 2 games this block, I've already touched on one of them. He has to play... Dang, I think Dub has the hardest block in block 2 now that I look at it. But he gets to host the Wildcats. Again, this one's not going to be close. Easy win for Shell. And then his other game, he gets to travel to... He's traveling to Northwestern. I apologize. Traveling to Northwestern, gets to host the Oregon State Beavers, who I would say they have the hardest block 2, which is crazy how hard some of these block 2s are, because Oregon State actually plays Ohio State and Oregon in the same block for a combined rank of 7, which is nuts. And of course, Shell's going to win this game by 28 minimum. Double put up, I think, I'd say 21. Double put up a good fight. He's a good coach. I don't think he would get as smoked just because Shells is not someone who really like smokes guys. He kind of, he plays respectfully. As evidenced by his 25-point victory over Victim in the Beefy and then a 28-point over URAG in the Beefy. Jeez, he has like the biggest joke of a Beefy Cup group ever. I know we randomized the Beefy groups, but holy smokes. He's in a group with Virginia, Northern Illinois, and Coastal. Yeah, I can see why Drew's not playing his Beefy Cup games this year. Crazy. Okay, moving on to the next team. So good on Shell for getting his games in, even though the Arkansas State game, I think someone messed something up when they tried to put in the stats a second time. So good on him for getting his games in. And then, oh man, we're moving on to it. Just a guy, man, I just felt gutted for him. Just gutted is the only way to describe it. So his first game, he hosted Knowles and Duke, and he kind of showed everyone that, hey, I know you guys think I'm not that good. You remember my year at Georgia where I won, I think, 8 games. I guess I wasn't that good. Good, sorry. And then, but he said, okay, I'll just win this game by 33 against Knowles, despite having an overall disadvantage. And he's like, okay, guys, I am actually good. And then he said, okay, let me host who you guys are going to say is like the shoo-in for the American USF. And unfortunately, man, Andy was up. I think he got like a fumble recovery inside the 20. He just like took some bad sacks. He wasn't being smart with his throws, not the best play calling. Really didn't run the ball well. I question if his playbook has that good of runs in it. Just lots of weird things, and then unfortunately just wasn't able to throw a pick with like 20 seconds left to lose. And he did lose at home to South Florida, which is really tough. Jeff's not a bad user by any means, but I think Andy should have won that game. I think Andy has to be able to take care of business against Group of Fives at home with Penn State. So unfortunately, he's 1-1. I know Smitty was in the chat going crazy that, that's all, the playoffs are over for Penn State. They're over. No, they're not over. He has the toughest schedule in the Big Ten, so he has plenty of chances to prove himself by getting a win that Smitty couldn't. Whether that be against Oregon, Ohio State, or Indiana. I think Smitty did beat Indiana. But just wasn't able to beat Oregon or Ohio State or Rutgers. So lots of good chances for Andy. I think his season's still alive easily. Just tough to kind of slip up there against a G5 team. So his one game this block is against a coach. I think he knows because he played him last year in the MAC, and they had a very tight game. I think he's lucky. He's told me he's lucky to win. But he's going to travel to BYU. He's going to play CJG. Oh man, this is a tough. I mean, tough doesn't even begin to describe how difficult this game's going to be. I like Andy. I like Andy to win. I think he's going to do a good job of he's someone where when he does lose that game, he does a good job of coming back from it, not sulking over it, adapts, adjusts as needed, and is able to win. But this man is going to be really close. I could easily see it going to overtime, but I do think Andy's going to win by 4 points. I think he scores a late touchdown to get the victory over CJG. And then as far as Beefy Cup, Andy's played 2 games. He beat Cross by 13. Again, dude, this Cross guy's pretty good. And then he was able to beat Chili Chill and Buffalo on the road by 17. So good for Andy. Tough to see him lose that second game. I really think he could have won that. But it's all right. And I think he shouldn't give up. And I'm not going to give up on him. Now we got the only new coach in the Big Ten, Purdue. They have played none of their games. I was in the chat for, unfortunately, they're playing Neil Shiesty. Are blocks still open for 2 weeks? Can't remember if this changed for this season or not. Yes, comma. They are going to, well, before I respond, I better check to make sure 100% of the blocks are open for 2 weeks. Gameplay rules, season 35 rules. Let's see, I'm like 95% sure they're open for 2 weeks. But want to make sure, you can't be giving out false information. It's just unacceptable. Week. Effective season 34, you'll have 2 weeks to play. Bad communication, yeah, still 2 weeks. Where's the page oh my gosh, I responded. Yes, will be open for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just like last season. Okay. Responded to that, and it looks like someone messaged me back in the Ohio State thread. Sim. Oh. Dang. Dang. Wait to see it. And then homie responded to me. I've heard of that updating the page. Let's see, homie. Are they calculating correctly? The overalls were all calculating wrong. They were showing me like CMU's overall instead of the overall the teams when I'm on that NDL page. So I told homie about it. He said he reverted an update and it corrected. See that I did have that. Okay, whatever. Thanks. Okay. Oh shoot, one of these is probably supposed to be. Who's adding me? Only if I had a doctor. Dang, that sucks, Tex. I hope you find a doctor someday. Obviously I'm joking. Like Tex said, he's cool. I've had some fun games against him. Well, I had the kick 6 against him. That was cool. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for you guys. Yeah, skip this. Skip. I miss Skip and Shannon. That's not a thing anymore, right? I don't think so. Okay, sorry. That's what I was doing. Purdue. They've played no one. Not great communication from that coach, but I think that coach is just more of a DM type person. Oh wait, they're not simming it. They're playing Sunday, not sure yet. What? Oh, I think he thought I was in the Dynasty. Oh. Oh, okay, awesome. Purdue versus Louisiana. No messages from either. Boop, 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 boop. What is his name again? South. There you go. Any idea when you guys are playing this game? And then I'd already sent a message in Twista channel chat. Okay, so I messaged in both of Purdue's games. Purdue had a game against Louisiana, has not been played. Purdue had a game against Northern Illinois, has not been played. Not perfect communication, but again, new coach, adjusting. I think they'll get it together. I do think they've been willing and eager to learn for anything that's been going on. Okay, so getting down to the next week, I don't think they play any beefy either. Yeah. So I think Core needs a little bit of help, so more than happy to provide that. We'll make sure their games get played. So their first game of Block 2, since I kind of touch on all the teams, they're playing at home against USC. It's going to be a blowout win for KDOT. KDOT's not going to lose to a team that's 10 overall worse, regardless of how good Cora is. I don't know. Cora hasn't played a game yet, so I can't really pick Cora. And then the other game, another locked-in game. Fortunately, it's against another way overmatched team, and it's on the road. It's going to be against Notre Dame. Obviously, again, RB's not going to lose on the 15 overall advantage. I know you guys everyone's kind of clowning for how bad he did against Miami, but I mean, he's not this bad. So regardless, Cora is going to start the year. I still think Cora is competitive in the two games against these G5 schools, Louisiana and Northern Illinois, but there's no way Cora wins either of the games in Block 2. Okay, moving on. We got Rutgers. Yes, my favorite. I know I shouldn't have a favorite, but he's probably my favorite right now just because I think I kind of tried to call my shot in the beginning of the season, and it always feels good to kind of be validated. So he had his first game against LSU. Again, the score was within 3 points, and then they decided, and then Penguin disconnected his internet. Of course, I'm being facetious. I think EA just like disconnected them. But they had an internet disconnect. They played the whole game over again. And then, of course, Penguin was a lot better now that he kind of knew what to expect. I think that's it's hard to win one of those upset games when someone kind of knows what to expect. They know how you're going to play. It becomes a lot harder to score. Unfortunately, Chrome, again, has like the worst defense in the NDL. He's given up 124 points. Yeah, 124 points over 2 weeks. Oh gosh, I mean, he averages 62 points a game given up, but was able to score 59 and win against Zoot, which awesome for him. Love to see it. Love to see a huge win against a pretty good coach and former Big Ten coach at Tulane and Zoot. Tulane's ranked? Oh yeah, because they're one of the playoff teams. Yeah. Okay, and then Beefy Cup wise, he's played 2 games. He played a little bit better defense. He beat CG by 6, and he beat CG and Syracuse by 6, and he beat MGR and Georgia Southern by 24. So great offense. Like I said, formula, if you score 40, it's hard to lose. He scored 40 in 3 of his 4 games this year. He's won 3 of his 4 games this year. So let's see. Oh, man. He has a couple fun games. He has one game I think easily should have been a game of the week. I think it's disappointing that, yet again, there's kind of this SEC bias. Let's see if we look at game of the week. There's always this SEC bias. It's just disgusting. Florida LSU. Absolutely disagree. Why is Florida LSU? I'm sorry for how loud I am, but why is Florida LSU a game of the week? That's not going to be close. Like, come on. It's a horrible pick. Arkansas, Ole Miss, I'll agree with. Georgia Southern, UConn. Is MGR Georgia Southern? I know I just said it, but he is, right? I'm good with that, too, like, kind of vets of the league. I don't have a problem with that. Stanford, Boston College, that's not a game of the week, guys. Like, what are we doing? How do we not have Rutgers or Iowa as a game of the week and we have Stanford, Boston College? No. Texas Tech, Utah should be a game of the week. Very disappointing in the game day, guys. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I don't know what the conversation was to not pick Rutgers, Iowa, but easily this should be a game of the week over those 2 games I discussed. Stanford Boston College is not going to be a better game than Rutgers, Iowa, and there's no way in a million years that LSU Florida is going to be a better game than Rutgers, Iowa. That LSU Florida game will not be remotely close. I can't sometimes. I just can't. I cannot, but I can't even. Okay. All right, calm down a little bit. Okay, so Rutgers, he's playing against Kansas State on the road. This is a Kansas State team that's really looking for a victory. Unfortunately, dropped their first 2 against, I think, Lexi. Lexi won one of them, and then Vegas won the other. So Kansas State Jaguars team was ranked to start the year. Everyone's thinking highly, and now they're 0-2. And they got something to prove against this Chrome team that's going to come in. He's going to score. And I don't think Jaguars' best attribute is defense. So I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I do think Chrome's going to get the formula to work. Unfortunately, man, the formula for Chrome might be score 50, don't give up 40, or don't give up 50. Holy moly. I think this game will easily go over 100 points. No, yeah, it will. It will. It will. There's going to be no defense played in this game. It's going to be awesome. But do think Chrome's going to come with the victory because really high in Chrome this season. Now, his other game, I've already touched on. I think it's going to easily be one of the most intriguing games of the week. It's an absolute joke. It's not one of the game of the week games. I know I'm really disappointed in Pat because he's in the Big Ten and he didn't pick this as one of the game of the week games. And it's just, you know what? The disappointment for Pat's kind of overwhelming recently, and it's sad. I can't believe him right now. But regardless, this game's going to be awesome. If you guys want to watch any Big Ten game this week, watch this one. Of course, play your own, but play your own, watch as many as you can. But this one's just, who knows what's going to happen, man? Like, this guy who just scores 1,000,000 points is going to play this guy who's decent with the hit stick and then runs the ball all the time. But then the guy who scores 1,000,000 points is terrible at defense, but then running the ball, I don't know, is it that consistent? Jeez, I mean, we could easily see 1,200 yards of total offense minimum in this game, which is crazy. So totally looking forward to it, but do think Chrome's going to come away with the victory, because I do think it being at Rutgers is just enough to squeak out the victory. Now, moving on to UCLA and Vic. I think Vic's had a really good start to the year. His first game, I think technically he played Marion first, but his first game, his week 1 game, was at home against Missouri State and Dak. Of course, I played Dak myself. No slouch by any means, but a little surprised to see Vic see him score 43 on Vic. I mean, when I played Dak, it wasn't scoring anywhere near 43 points on me. So hopefully Vic can kind of get that whatever was happening on defense turned around and play a little bit better, because unfortunately Vic's given up over 100 combined points in his first 2 games as well, averaging 53 points a game on defense. It's not good, obviously. So he's definitely got to get that turned around. But he was able to win against Dak, so can't be completely negative. And then he's played all his BV Cup games. Actually, his groups played all their games. Wow, BV Cup Pool 13, best group. He lost to CJG by 14. He beat Big Ryan Army by 31, and he beat Priest and Fresno by 28. So I'd say he's taken care of business so far. His other game, like I said before, was against Marion. Unfortunately, he kind of stuck around a little bit, but this is a pretty big overall and user mismatch. I wouldn't expect this one to be close. So proud of Vic for being able to score 40 on a good Utah team, being able to keep it within 35. So should definitely look highly upon that. I saw Nico Imaliva had a really good run near the end of the game. Really impressive. So good shout out to Vic for that. And then Vic has 1 game. Geez, he scheduled all 3 of his out-of-conference games at home. Huh. Hey, he's only 78. I would have scheduled him on the road just for the bonus point. But he's going to play a Mountain West team in New Mexico, an Outlaw. This one actually probably will be pretty close, just because I think playstyle-wise, they both can kind of get up and down the field at times. So I do think Vic's going to win this one, but I think it'll only be by 10 points. I think Outlaw's going to play him really tight. I think Outlaw really likes this New Mexico team. He played Tim really well in Washington State, only lost by 1 score, despite some controversial deep ball that he threw. Okay. And then that's it for Vic. Good job, Vic, and getting your games played. Okay. Reaching near the end here, we got the other California team in the Big Ten. USC in a game against Cruising has not been played, which means it's time to go back to this. I want to go, it's week 1. There. USC. Holy smokes, what the heck? Oh my gosh, K-Dot wrote like a book to him. Available to play, not ignoring you, to drive 30 hours. Oh, that stinks. Heard you were like 3rd overall. Really? I heard you were like 3rd overall in the early 2000s for NCAA. LOL, awesome. Looking forward to our matchup. That's right, you're IRL friends with Mr. Ward. 3rd overall in Xbox. Whoa, so K-Dot's like legit. That's prior to cross-platform leaderboard days. Dang. Those were different days. Jeez. Huh. So K-Dot used to be the 3rd best player on NCAA in all of Xbox? Huh. Hasn't translated into the NDL. Different animal. Family man. You good for tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern? Oh, that's like right now. Oh. 10 a.m. Central is when they might play their game. Okay, so it looks like K-Dot's scheduling his game good, and I now know that K-Dot used to be the 3rd best Xbox player in all of NCAA, so you learn something new every day. That's pretty awesome. Good for him. Hey, that's really cool. Okay. So he has 2 games that I've already touched on, actually, because he kind of schedules out of conference. Well, the Notre Dame game's locked. But interestingly enough, he only plays 1 out of conference game before going into Big Ten play, and then he kind of mixes it out of conference later. Okay. So his first game next block is against Purdue. Again, I think Corey needs some help with the scheduling. Definitely going to help him out with that. Make sure everything gets taken care of. USC will win this one by a bunch. Taking 3rd on Xbox. That's pretty cool. And then the other game he has is at home. Touched on this one as well. I do think KDOT's a little bit better, but I think this one's going to be really close. Only giving KDOT the advantage because of the overall and the home field. I do think this one will be within a score. So I think KDOT's going to be 2-0 next block. I think he beats Cruising, so I think he'll be 3-0 to start the season, which would be awesome for him. He has not played any Beefy Cup games yet, so hasn't played an official game as USC yet, so hopefully he can get that in. Now we got a guy who played at Troy, was pretty good, but he's struggled to say the least starting his year at Washington. He played his first game against Rain, lost by 31, wasn't really close. And then he played a Beefy Cup game against Marion in Utah, also wasn't really close. So he's got some stuff to prove. He's going to get a good chance to prove it because he has 2 games that are honestly against pretty good coaches. His first one, this next block, his first one is going to be at home. It's going to be against a team who knows the Big Ten kind of well, Iowa State and Lexi. Lexi, of course, lost to Utah or Iowa by 9 this most recent block. And then we're going to see if Duvid can kind of repeat Iowa and Brady's success and beat Iowa State as well, which I actually do expect. Yeah, I think Duvid's going to win this one. I think he turns it around. It's a good home field advantage time, not playing I think he played a snow game against Bama too. So not playing this crazy great team. He has the team advantage finally. So I think he's going to kind of turn around and get things going. And then his other game is the Apple Cup, which is on the road for him this year. And I think the Big Ten's undefeated in the Apple Cup on College Football 26, so he has a chance to kind of finish the sweep against Tim Washington State. Yeah, I mean, he has an 8 overall advantage. It's kind of tough to overcome. And I do think he's going to be able to take care of that 8 overall advantage and come away with the victory against Mr. Lick and Tim. So I do think Duvid's going to go, despite kind of having a rough start to the year, I think he's going to go undefeated in Block 2, and he's going to be 2-1. Headed into Block 3. And then he has 2. He should make it out of his BB Cup group. I mean, he's playing Jeff and Marshall, who will be good, and then he's playing Air Force, or Razorback and Air Force, who will also be decent, but he has a big overall advantage in those games. Okay, now on to the last team. We've got Wisconsin, and he's going to be, how long have we been live for? An hour? Okay, yeah, so that's about how long the big pod usually takes. So we got Wisconsin Nidler. He's had a rough start to the year. Combined lost both games by a combined 7 points. But unfortunately, that still means they're losses. Lost to Cleat Freak by 3. Very close game. And then lost to a MAC school, which that stinks to see. Hate to see that as a Big Ten commish. He's going to lose to the worst. I'm pretty sure the MAC's still the worst overall conference in the game. I lost to Toledo, who does have the best team, right? 81 is the best. What the heck? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, he lost to the best team in the MAC. He has an overall advantage, so, I don't know. It's kind of tough, because it's kind of tough to be like, oh, wow, what a win for Toledo, when it's it's a +1 on Kelly's win goal, and it's a 0 on Nidler's. Kelly's supposed to win this game. But, of course, hurts for me who picked, I think Midland to finish 6th in the conference or something. Which I still think he will. He just doesn't get blown out. He's just that guy that sticks around every dang game. Even last year when he was Purdue, he stuck around in almost every game he played. So I think he's going to be able to come out with some victories. But he has... Man, I got a hair in my eye. Oh, my gosh. Driving me nuts. Okay, so he's got 2 games this block. First one, on the road. He scheduled all 3 of his out-of-conference games on the road to try and get the bonus points 0-2. That stinks. Okay, so he's got New Mexico and Outlaw, or oh my gosh, he doesn't have New Mexico. He's his buddy, UNLV and Black Rain. So I'm looking forward to that. Do you think this? How is this? How is this team worse than UNLV? What is that? What? There's no way. Crazy. So I think Nidler's gonna win this. I think Nidler's a better coach than Black Rain. Black Rain's not a bad coach by any means, but I think Nidler's a better coach than Black Rain. So I think Nidler's gonna win this one, and then his other game is against. Yeah, he only lost to Pirate by 6 in Beefy Cup. Like, he just doesn't lose games by more than a score. It's going to keep him in a ton. But this is a game we already touched on quite a while ago. But it's the Maryland game. And it's finally he's going to play a home game. It's his first home game of the year, which I think will be huge for him. I think that's going to be all he needs to kind of come away with the victory. Like I said, I think it being at home, he's the top 25 HFA advantage. I think they're like 24th or something. He's going to be able to win this one. He's going to be able to start off his Big Ten play with a dub. And that's really going to set him up well for a guy who has a tough Big Ten schedule, but it's not crazy. Like Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, Indiana. That's really hard. It's going to be tough. I think Nidler has... Man, he really only has like 2 games where his overall is going to be close. It's this one in Minnesota. Every other one, he's at a pretty big overall disadvantage. So we'll see, though. Like I said, he just doesn't lose games by a lot, and I think he's going to continue to do that this season. I think he pulls out a couple wins. He pulls out more wins than people expect. Regardless, I think he's going to go 2-0 in this block, so he's going to change this 0-2 season into a 2-2 season and kind of hopefully start his Big Ten playoff right and string some wins together. All right. Now that's all the teams. We've covered them all. Of course, title game prediction. This isn't going to change. I think it's going to be a while till this one changes. Because like I said before, I haven't seen playoff caliber play from, like I said on the hot route, I haven't seen playoff caliber play from any coach but these two. And it's Ohio State, it's Oregon. I think DeCandy will, by whatever tiebreakers, I think he'll probably be the home team. Because I think Shell has that game he always drops during the season. I think he'll probably drop it again, but I don't see DeCandy losing a regular season game this year. He doesn't have some crazy MJ Kemp sitting out there waiting for him. So I do think Ohio State's going to run the table, and I do think they're going to win this championship game if it does come to pass. But regardless, I think, a lot of people are hating on our conference, guys, and they're saying, the Big Ten's not that good, the SEC's like so much better, blah, 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 blah. No, this is what they sound like to me. Wah, 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 wah. They sound like that dang Peanuts character, like the teacher. Don't listen to them, guys. You guys are good. You guys have good teams, and you guys are good coaches. Just play your game. We got one more block for most of you to kind of show the out-of-conference what's up. I think you guys have a lot of winnable games. And I think we're going to show everyone that, no, we're not like this scrub conference. We're really good. And I still have faith that we're going to get that 3rd bid, which I would be happy. If we get 3 bids, I'd be elated. Because, like I said, the 2 teams that can really get those, can get college football playoff bids really are Penn State and Indiana. I think all you guys have chances at it, but in terms of caliber team, caliber coach, I think those are the best shot. And like I said, Patrick just hasn't shown it to me, but Andy has shown he's a fighter, and I think Andy's going to keep fighting. So, regardless, don't listen to the outside noise, guys. Trust in yourselves. You guys are good. You guys are going to take care of business, and I look forward to watching your games, and I appreciate anyone who listened to this 69 nice minute podcast. And I look forward to watching your games. And as always, long live the NDL. But always, more importantly, fire up chips. Okay?